Welcome back. Welcome back to Algebra 1, Chapter 4, Section 6 in this book. If you have the book, turn to page 241. We're going to talk about quick graphs using slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is where you get y by itself. It's like that form right there. And we've talked about that the number next to x is the slope. Guess what the last number is? It's called the y-intercept. And the symbol for it, for no reason that I know, is B. I'm dyslexic. B is not good for me in math. B's turn into 6s. I sure wish they had picked something else, but we all have our challenges we have to overcome, right? Alright, so I'm going to show you how we normally graph this and how we can use our knowledge of it being of some math to make an easier graph. Okay, the usual way you do this is you make an if-then chart. So, do you remember what we use first for our if? If x is 0. Why do we use 0? Because we're lazy and it's easy. So we're going to put 0 in for x in our minds. 0 times 2 is 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. So our first point is if x is 0, y is 3, and we put a dot. And do you remember what the second easiest one to use is? 1. Because once again, we're lazy. Okay? 1 times 2 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. So if x is 1, y is 5. And if you have 2 points, you can draw a line. Now, you can only do 2 points like this if there are no exponents. It has to have no exponents so that you know it's a line. Then you only need 2 points. Boopity boop, there it is. Now, there's actually a slightly easier way to do this. And I'm going to show you that way now. Here goes the line. Put that back up. Draw some more points here. There we go. Okay. Pretend like we don't know that. Okay. So another reason why we like this form where x is by itself, not only because you're going to learn how to do this on your calculator and your calculator has a y equals button, is because in this form you can actually graph it without making the chart. Okay? This is how you do it. You go to the bare number. Maybe that's why it's B, for bare number. Maybe someone besides me calls it the bare number. You go to the B, the bare number. It's the y-intercept. You go on y and you put a dot on the y-axis for the bare number. 1, 2, 3, put a dot. Then, this is your slope. If it doesn't have a denominator, the denominator is an understood 1. And do you remember slope? This tells you how many up. That one tells you how many over. So we go from our dot, we're going to go up 2, over 1, and put another dot. If you have 2 dots, that was terrible. Let's try again. If you have 2 dots, and you can draw a line, then you've got a line. So do you see how I was able to do it without even making the chart? Just using the y-intercept as my starting point and my slope telling me where to go, up 2 over 1. Okay, so let's try another one. Let's try this one. To do it, we've got to get y by itself. How do you get y by itself? By doing the opposite. So why is it not alone? It's got a plus 3x. The opposite is minus 3x. What I do to one side, I do to the other. These cancel out. You can't subtract 3x from 2 because to add or subtract they have to have the same letters with the same exponents. So instead, y equals negative 3x. By etiquette, x's go before bare numbers, plus 2. That's a positive 2 and we still need a plus there. So, because they're not all together. It's adding and subtracting. This will make more sense the more you practice it. Okay, so that's our slope. That's our y-intercept. Start 1 at y-intercept. You go on y to 2. 1, 2. put a dot. Go to the slope. It didn't have a denominator, so I gave it 1. Understood 1. And this is my up and that's my over, but it's negative. So it's not up, it's down. Ooh, mind blown. Okay, so I'm going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And put a dot. And there's my 2 lines. Woo! My 2 dots to make the line. Notice this had a positive slope. It went uphill. This has a negative slope. Downhill. Starting to make sense, isn't it? Excited? All right. If 2 lines have the same number for the slope, they're parallel. Parallel means there are 2 lines like railroad tracks that will always stay the same distance apart. They'll never cross, they'll never spread out, always the same distance apart. So, I've got 3 lines here. 2 of them are parallel. Which 2? Let's figure it out. To figure it out, we have to solve for y and get y by itself by doing the opposite. Why is y not alone? Well, it's got a 2 and a negative x. You work from the outside in and you do the opposite till it's alone. The opposite of minus x is plus x. What I do to one side, I do to the other. Those cancel out. Why is y not alone? It's being multiplied by 2. What's the opposite? Divide by 2. What I do to one side, I do to the other. Those cancel out. By etiquette, x's come before numbers. So this one is y equals that 1/2. You can either do x divided by 2 or you can say 1/2 x. It's the same thing. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that's my first line. Here's my next one, plus x plus, that's a terrible plus, plus x divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2. Remember, it's a pirate party. Everybody gets to divide by 2. Okay, those marked out. Those are marked out. So now y equals negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1, but we need to do our x's first. 1/2 x minus 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. That's a negative 1. There it is right there. That's our second one. And here's our third one, minus x minus x. Those mark out. Divided by 2. I should write it over here, minus x. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Those mark out. I'm doing this real fast. If it's too fast, just remember, parallel have the same slope. You'll get better at this, I promise. Okay, so y equals x is first, negative 1/2 x. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So here are my 3 formulas. Which lines are parallel? That one and that one. They both have a half. That one's negative 1/2. It's not parallel. Let's graph them and see. We'll do it over here. Need to get rid of that if I have time. Hopefully I'm not running out of time. See if my timer says, doop. It says nothing. All right, no help there. All right, so I'm going to graph these. I'm going to go to 3, put a dot, go up 1, over 2, put another dot, and there's my first line. Okay, now I'm going to do this line. I go to negative 1, put a dot, go up 1, over 2, put a dot, draw my line. Oh, look what railroad tracks, how pretty and parallel those are. Now let's do this one. We start at 2, put a dot, we go down 1 and over 2 and put a dot, and that line's going like that, not parallel. So parallel lines have the same slope, and we can graph with the y-intercept and the slope. All right, it's kind of fun, and I promise the more you practice, the more this will start making sense. Math is fun.